Hey y'all, it's Betsy, and today we are going to be playing with some new makeup. I went to Sephora when we went to the Nutcracker market and picked up some new makeup, got some new things at Ulta, and we're going to be playing with some of my things that I haven't really messed with in a while. So I figured this would be kind of fun and informative, and some of these things, well, actually all of them I've used at least a couple of times. But the Supernova Celestial Skin Elixir, which I purchased at Ulta. It's by Flower Beauty. I've been using this non-stop to prime my face. Got to shake it to make sure it's mixed. I mean, as you can see, I've actually gone through quite a bit of it. And typically, I apply it and let it sit on my face while I do my eyes, so it has a chance to absorb into my skin, and it has really been helping my dry, wintry skin, which for us, when it's winter time, which isn't really winter compared to the rest of the world. I mean, we typically, last year we got snow 3 times, but it wasn't like snow, which is astronomical for us to get. So while that's setting in and absorbing into my skin, and that really helps my foundation lay without my skin looking crepey, because as I said, during this time of year my skin dries out, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but typically during the summer I'm oily, during the winter I'm dry. So we're going to be using the Milani eyeshadow primer to prime my eyelids. Nothing major, nothing too out of the ordinary, and we're going to be playing with the Huda Beauty Nudes, and I have used this several times and I adore this color scheme, and it works really well for my medium-ish olive skin tone. So I'm pulling out my Jaclyn Hill brushes. These are just easier to use when I'm doing tutorials because they're all right there. So we're gonna grab a big fluffy brush, which is the JH30. My eyes are bothering me. I've been fighting a cold, and I'm going to take and go into the color Play, which is this peachy nude, and that's what we're going to set my eyeshadow primer with. Just to kind of give a nice, even base coat all over the eye. But yeah, I've worn this about 10 times since I purchased it. I really, really like this. And I love the Emerald Obsessions. It's just, this is a little bit more basic that I can wear every day. The Emerald Obsessions is a little bit more special. Like, I love green eyeshadow, don't get me wrong. It's just not something I'll wear every single day, and it doesn't match every single outfit I wear. So now we're going to go into a smaller brush. This is the JH33, and I'm going to go into the shade Secret, which is just a little bit deeper than the Play shade. And we're just gonna go ahead and fluff that into the crease. And I'm trying to keep from covering the camera. And today we're not gonna do a super dramatic eye, which for other people it may be more dramatic, but for me this is kind of a simple look. And the Secret shade is what I'm using as my transition shade. Now these definitely are more on the mauvey pink side than your traditional nudes, and I really, really like it, and I like that there's a lot more textures to it. I used to, is that a word? I used to have the Urban Decay Naked 3, and I love that color scheme on my skin tone, but I didn't like that there weren't a whole lot of textures. Now I'm using the JH35, which is a little bit more precise, and I'm going into the color Spanked just to fluff a little bit more color on to the outer eyelid. There we go. Take that same JH30 that I originally started with and just blend out the edges so it doesn't look super harsh. There we go. Now I love these 4 super textured shades. They're absolutely stunning. As you can see, we've dug into them quite a bit because we've been playing with it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the shade Daydream, which is a purpley pinky shade, and I'm going to use my finger and apply that all over my lid. But for eye looks, you don't have to do 10 different shades to make an impactful eye look. There we go. So other than that, I'm going to take that same brush that I put the Spanked on and just make sure that there's no extra glittery shade in my crease. So for right now, we are done with eyes. We're using the Studio Skin 15-hour hydrating foundation because, as I said, my skin is extremely dry, so I went and bought a moisturizing foundation because I typically wear a lot of matte finish foundations. But I like this foundation and it blends really, really well. Anyways, there we go. And you get a good heavy, not really heavy, but a more medium coverage out of this foundation. It is definitely not a full coverage foundation. As you can see when you look at it, there is still my redness showing through, and I'm not sure if it shows up on camera or not, but in person you can still see some redness, but there we go. But look how pretty that looks. So now we're going to go ahead and do some bronzing contour, and this is a sample of the Huda Quickie Contour. I have a full size of it, and this is one of my tried and trues. I love this for my skin tone, and it blends in really, really well. And I think that one's about done. We'll be doing an empties video soon. There we go. And we'll go ahead and blend that in to help give my skin a little bit of color, because as you can see, it's still a medium coverage foundation, but a lot of times whenever you're wearing a fuller coverage foundation, and for a lot of people this would be considered a full coverage foundation, but I have like the Jouer and the Huda Beauty, and Kat Von D and the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. Those to me are like true full coverage foundations. You can't even see, you got skin underneath. But for a lot of people this would be a more full coverage foundation than what they're used to wearing. But for me it's nothing major, and I'm using the Maybelline Age Rewind and Neutralizer just to highlight the center of my face and to hide the bags under my eyes. I've been fighting getting sick, and I've been on medicine like Sudafed and all that kind of stuff. Even though I had sinus surgery, I still get sinus infections, which can happen, just not as often as I did, so I can't complain too much. But the Maybelline Age Rewind is an amazing, amazing concealer. and see, it hides those bags under my eyes really, really well. And I've been testing out the Laura Mercier setting powder. So what I typically do, and this is not the illuminating, this is just the plain old, is to help keep my concealer from creasing while I'm setting. I'll hold my face like this so there's no wrinkles under my eyes. And just apply a generous amount of setting powder, typically to my smile lines, the lines on my forehead, right around my nose, and under my eyes, because that is where I tend to crease. And then I just take a big old fluffy powder brush and go ahead and set the rest of my face. But I really do like that powder. That is a really, really good powder, at least for my skin. So there's what we're going for so far. So now we're gonna dig into some bronzer. And we're gonna use the Jaclyn Hill, the JH02, which I love this brush for bronzer, and I'm using the Butter Bronzer in Deep Bronze. Just to warm up my face. Nothing too dramatic. And if you have a paler skin tone, my sister-in-law and my daughter both are very, very, very pale. The light shade in this is wonderful. And this is one of my favorite bronzers, and it is inexpensive compared to a lot of bronzers. So now we're just gonna fluff on some blush, and I'm going to use the shade Romance right here, this deeper pink shade. This is the Chloe Morello and Pixie collab. And it just gives a nice flush to the cheeks. And I think this collab's still available at Target. Let's see how pretty that looks. Now we're gonna go ahead and do brows, and this is the Beautiful Brows and Lashes. I bought this at the Nutcracker Market and it was super expensive, and it has stencils, which I really don't use, but I do like the brow powder that came with it. And it seems like there's a lot in there for the money, so I got suckered into it. And this is the light brown, medium brown shade kit that I'm using. And I'm just using a small, this is a BH Cosmetics angled brush, which would be typically used for liner or brows. And making sure they're filled in completely. But it still looks like a natural brow. It's not super harsh. Just going in and filling them in all the way. Heavier strokes towards the back, which is typically where your eyebrows are the fullest, to fill them in the most, and then lighter strokes towards the front. And see, just as simple as that. Nothing major. Now we'll go ahead and finish out the eyes. I'm using the Marc Jacobs eyeliner in, what shade is this? If it will tell me. In Roe or Cocoa. And I like this bronzy shade to go with this eye look. There we go. Must find the right brush. Now I'm gonna use the JH37, and we're gonna smoke out the lower lash line using the shade Secret, which was what I used as my transition shade. And keeping it on the outer portion of my eye. But see how pretty that looks? Now we're gonna go ahead and highlight, and I'm using the JH, what is this one? 38. And we're going to go into that really whitish glimmer shade called Crave. That one right there. And just take and highlight the inner corner of our eye. And that really makes your eye look pop. I'm going to take a little bit of that and mix it in with Bare, just to use, to tone it down just the slightest, to use under my brow bone. So it still has some highlight to it, but it's not as crazy as whenever it's just that shade, which it looks perfect whenever you have it as your inner corner. But I don't want a blinding highlight under my brow bone. So that is the eye look done. Now we're going to take the JH, what is this one? 09. We're going to highlight our face, and we're using the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in the shade Kitten. This is one of my all-time favorite highlighters, especially when I'm doing a more pinky tone look like I have today, because as you can see, it is very pinky and reflective. But it has a beautiful wet texture to this highlighter where it doesn't show fine lines and wrinkles and things like that. So I just run it down the bridge of my nose, right on the top of my Cupid's bow, and the tops of my cheekbones. Now before we apply mascara and lips, we're gonna go ahead and set our face. And I'm using the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray, and this came in a BoxyCharm. But when I run out of this, I will definitely be replacing it because I really, really love the mister on this. And it gives that, it melts everything together, but it also gives like a beautiful, beautiful ethereal glow to the skin. So we're gonna go ahead and do eyes. So we're gonna start off, or do the mascara. So we're gonna go ahead and curl our lashes. And you can use any old eyelash curler, most of them work. Whatever fits your eye shape. This one is an old Revlon one that I've had forever. I'm using the Wet n Wild Skinny Mascara, Mega Slim, on my lower lash line. It really gets in there without making your lower lashes clumpy. There we go. And now we're gonna use the Essence Lash Princess. Now for a drugstore mascara, This is amazing mascara. Look how much of a difference mascara makes. And this, it says it gives a false lash effect, and it really, really does. So, and it gives volume and length and keeps them from clumping together. But again, as I said, this look is probably, like, this is a go-to look. This is something that I would wear pretty much every single day. Now we're going to use the NYX lip crayon in Natural. To go ahead and line our lips. And we're going to use some of my favorite liquid lipsticks. Last year my husband bought these for me for Christmas, the whole Pat McGrath liquid lipsticks. This is the Divine Nude shade. He bought me the whole Liquid Lip Lust collection as a Christmas gift. And they're so comfortable. And as you can see, that is just the perfect mauvey nude to go with this look. And last but not least, we're gonna apply a little bit of gloss, and this is the Moi gloss, and I just bought this. This is from the Mickey 90th birthday collection collab with Dose of Colors. And it looks scary in the tube, but it actually is just a beautiful goldish sheen. So, if you like this look, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'm still nervous doing makeup tutorials. Like, I can talk about makeup all day long, but doing makeup tutorials is a little bit nerve-wracking for me. And I do this in real time, so you can see that it doesn't take forever to get this kind of look. So remember, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon, that notifies you when we post new videos, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday's all about crafting for Disney, and Wednesdays are about my keto and CrossFit stuff, and Mondays are typically about makeup. But other than that, I think that's it, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, don't forget to check me out on all my social medias, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, as well as my main channel, which is where I do all things crafting, which is just Cuttin Corners Vinyl. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.